What a g'day, I'm Michael Parsons from Chrysalis and welcome to my kitchen. So today we're going to show you how to make mixed bix, which are a really awesome simple recipe that are based on seeded crackers that you can use for dips, biscuits with cheese. Janet and I love these biscuits, and we have pretty much every day we have a few of these biscuits with our favourite cheeses on them. My daughters love them with dips, so they're really versatile. You can use it with anything. The feedback that we've got on these biscuits has been outstanding, even to the point where a lot of friends have said, why don't you commercially make these? You know, these are so good, and I'm not into a commercial kitchen or doing any of that cooking. The recipe's here for you, so take it, use it, build them yourselves. They're really super easy, super scrummy. They're essentially made from predominantly seeds, so we're looking at flax seeds, pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, fennel seeds and chia seeds. So we'll run through how they're all put together, how easy it is and what you do and all the steps. For all you people on YouTube, so that if you're looking for the ingredients and a step-by-step recipe, that's located below, so look it up there. So let's get started. These biscuits are super easy, super quick, only use a few different ingredients, so they're really tasty, yummy, nutty crackers, which which we've created just that, that fit so many different lifestyles, that fit keto, just low carbohydrate diets, anything like that. So we've basically got all our ingredients pretty much prepared, and we're just going to follow the recipe and run through the recipe for you. So we start off with, we've got a couple of cups of water that are already contained within our bowl here. We'll save that for a little bit later. So today we're going to be using pumpkin seeds, we're going to be using hemp seeds, we're flax seeds, and sunflower kernels, chia seeds, a little bit of psyllium husk, and the psyllium husk is really there designed to actually glue it all together. It's really good stuff, psyllium husk, and it's high in fibre. We've got some already pre-chopped up birdseye chillies and a couple of other condiments. We've got fennel seeds that we're using in there as well. There's some garlic powder and onion powder and salt. So let's get cracking. So with the larger seeds, such as the pumpkin seeds and the sunflower kernels, and even the fennel seeds, just to break that flavour, because it's a very strong flavour, to break that up a little bit. So we whiz them together in the food processor. So what we do is we take half a cup of pumpkin seeds. We throw those in there. Let's get our already chopped up birdseye chillies. We chop them up just so that they're not in too bigger pieces when they get chopped up by that. 1 tablespoon of fennel seeds, which zip in there. And then we've got our sunflower kernels, so we may have, I've got a couple of packs here. We may have half a cup, probably need a little bit more from the rest of the new one. And okay, so half a cup of the sunflower kernels. So we've got the sunflower kernels, the fennel seeds and the birdseye chillies in there, and we just whiz them until they're kind of like small enough, like crushed nuts kind of texture in there. So we don't need those anymore. Then we've got so in another bowl, just in the bowl without the water in there, because we want to mix these all together, we have half a cup of our our flax seeds. So they go in there, and then we're just using 1/4 cup of chia seeds and 1/4 cup of hemp seeds. So chia seeds in there, 1/4 cup, that's pretty much the whole thing, and our hemp seeds. So that then gives us 2 cups of actually seeds, plus the 1 tablespoon of fennel seeds. We don't really count them. So they're in there. And then we also put in a tablespoon of onion powder, just to give it a bit of flavour. So that goes in there, mix that through there. And a teaspoon of garlic powder and a teaspoon of, the big garlic powder, a teaspoon of garlic powder and a teaspoon of salt, just for there. So let's put that together. Teaspoon of garlic powder, put just that little bit of zest of garlic, and I'm using sea salt flakes. If I can get in there, I'm going to get the box. There we go. And into that spot and into there. Right. So what we then do is we then add the crushed nuts that we've got from there, from the crushed nuts, the crushed seeds. Mix them around together so that they're all mixed together. Right. Okay. Awesome. So they're all mixed around together, so there's a nice consistency and it's even. We then take our psyllium husk, and this is a fun part. So you don't need to be too special about this. So we take 3 tablespoons of psyllium husk. And the first time I did this, I did these one at a time and then mixed it in. So you just add those to the water. 3 tablespoons of psyllium husk. And big one. Get the good quality one that you get from the chemist rather than the cheap one from the supermarket. There is some better quality ones in the supermarket. And then you mix it around with a whisk. And what you want is that consistency. It's just nicely dissolved in there. And that's done, nicely dissolved. And then what we do is we add our seeds to that and really give it a good mix around so that the psyllium husk gel has really mixed up with all the seeds. So give that a good mix around, because you don't want to have pockets of psyllium husk there, because it'd be pretty tasteless with just the pockets of psyllium husk. And you get that nicely mixed around. And then what you do is you let that sit for 10 minutes. And that's a perfect opportunity for you to then turn the oven on and get that oven to the right temperature. So what we want to have is the oven to 200 degrees Celsius on fan forced. So a nice hot oven that we're going, and we'll let that sit for 10 minutes. So as you can see, that's like that. It's nice. It's kind of a little bit gelatinous at the moment. So what we'll do is we'll just let that sit for 10 minutes, turn the oven on. That'll be heated up by the time that's ready, and then we'll go through the next step. Okay, so the next thing that we do while we're waiting for our oven to heat up and for our seed mixture to solidify, really coagulate and just become thick and kind of stick together, is we just prepare our baking paper sheets. So we've got, I'm using 3 trays today, and I'm lucky enough to have a big double oven and a smaller single oven. So depending on your ovens, like you are running it at 200 degrees generally. My smaller one I run at 190 because it does tend to get pretty hot in that one. So what we do is we just prepare these while we're waiting for the seed mixture to coagulate and for the ovens to get warm, is we just prep these by putting a little bit of extra virgin olive oil spray on the 3 sheets. Plus I'm also using a 4th sheet, which I'm going to be using to actually squash the mixture down so we can pancake it out into that. So I squeeze that up there, and that's the next bit. So we'll come back and next up we'll just have a look at how it works when we're putting the mixture out. Okay, so now that both ovens are heated up to the appropriate temperature, this is nicely set. So you can see, look, I can actually turn it up like that, and it's sitting there nicely coagulated. It's kind of like, it's like clay or dough in there, so it's in a really good place. And there's probably about 2 3/4 cups. So I'm using a couple of bigger trays and a smaller one. So I'm just going to fill these up in here. Get a cup out of each one, so it's nice big cup. Yeah. Stick that in the middle of that one. You can see how they're standing up nicely. It's just a bit like a what do you call those things? The desserts, the caramel desserts. Can't think of what they are. Don't eat them. But there we go. And then we've got the last one, which we'll just stick on here, nicely there, and beautiful. So we've got pretty much, and now what we're going to use is we're going to use this chopping board as well as a rolling pin, but there's another piece that I just need to kind of shape it. But so that it doesn't, because it's round, it'll actually tend to turn into a circle. So what we want to do is kind of like squeeze it out a little bit, make the middle bit thinner on the side. It's just something I do. You don't have to do it. You can do it in any way or shape or form that you like to do it. So it's kind of almost like an figure eight shape. Do that with all of these. Get that, squash it down a little bit. Figure eight. It's kind of like a big mess, this one. So we'll just see how that one goes. Figure eight. Yep, perfect. All right. Now, then we get our piece of paper, the bigger piece of paper, stick that over the top and squash it down. Just do that with each of them. Squash it down. It'll kind of like make a big round bit. You might want to then get in there and just squidge it so that it evens it out around it, because you're going to just gently go over there with a rolling pin, and we'll push that up there like that because it wasn't in the center. Just roll it out so it's not too you don't want to have it too thin. You want it kind of like about that thick. So the thickness of maybe, it's a bit thicker than that, so if you can see that, so maybe you know, 3 or 4 mils thick, maybe 5 mils. You don't want, if you get it too thin, it tends to be too brittle as a cracker, as a biscuit. So if we have a look at that, down there, I'm not sure how well you can see it, but like it's coming there, it's reasonably thin in there, but not too thin. You then might want to, just for, if you're a bit obsessive compulsive about it, to want to make them into squarish rectangular biscuit shapes, just shape it around. But then you do that, and what you do is you do that with the rest of them, and then we put them into, so grab a tray, put them into the tray, and then off to the oven. So I'll do one more so you see it. So once again, we've got that. Already put it in, squash it down, it's just a little bit of pressure, squash it down a little bit. Get our rolling pin out, roll it out, just kind of, so it's nice and even. Once again, as I said, not too thin, doesn't have to be too, nice and thick. The thicker they are, well, not too, you don't want them too thick because otherwise they take too long. And once again, as we said, a bit of OCD popping in there. There's not a lot of OCD that I do have, but occasionally, about my biscuits maybe. Once again, you can kind of see, there we go, that's what I've done it like. So you grab your other tray, stick that in there, and then we stick them in the oven for 20 minutes. And after 20 minutes, we'll then take them out, and what we'll do is I'll show you what to do with them then. Great, so welcome back. We've had the biscuits in the oven for 20 minutes. Now I've taken them out, and what we do next is we get through to just cutting them into, so they're not cooked yet at all, but we're going to use a pizza cutter to actually just score out the lines so they break nicely into biscuits. So, just grabbing one of them, just put them down, taking it out of the tray. So we kind of like do it about, what are you going about that far apart for each one. So just going up nicely, each one really as thick as you want to have them as biscuits, but you get quite a few out of it this way. You're looking at probably around 30 to 35 to maybe 50 biscuits, depending on how small you cut them. So you see, I've cut those down into different bits. I'll do another one while we're here. Grab it from the tray. So it's a really simple thing, so it's still pretty soft. You're just getting in there, just make them through, so you're going up, so horizontally, vertically that we're cutting them, and then we run them across just one horizontally so that you're breaking them into smaller biscuits, and that's pretty much it. So then what we do is we put them back into the oven for another 10 to 20 minutes, depending on how hot your oven gets. So it's really important that you keep an eye on them, because seed biscuits can burn really quickly. So I like to probably put it on 10 minutes and then maybe check it every so in another 5 minutes time. When they're starting to look just before they start to get dark, then what we do is we just turn the oven off, and let the natural heat sitting in the oven do the rest of the cooking, okay? So what we'll do is we'll do that, we'll put them back in for maybe 10-20 minutes more in my oven. So generally my ovens, I'm doing that 10 to 20 minutes, and then by that time I just turn the oven off, let it probably go for another 25-30 minutes, and then take them out and they're beautifully cooked, and we'll show you that once it's done. Hi, so welcome back. So they're all done now. We've just let them sit in the oven with the ovens off, just using the latent heat that's just sitting within the hot ovens just to continue to crisp them up. So now there goes the dogs, beautifully done, and they're nicely crisped up. So what they should do is break off really easily. So we break them off, crisp up, stick them onto a tray, onto a wire rack, let them cool down, and then they're beautifully done. So these are super tasty, super done, and super crispy. So there you go. So there's Mick's Picks. Off you go. Really enjoy them, and watch out for any new recipes that are coming up shortly. See you later.